He lost his daughter in the shooting, and Parkus was reeling. And he just shook your head. How is that possible? All right, I want to talk a little bit about guns, not gun control, but a study just came out to give us a little more, I guess, understanding of what's going on. So a lot of us don't know the depths and the background and the history and why we are where we are. So I'm going to throw in some cases and throw in some history and try to make it all a little bit more understanding. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Classes are canceled again today at the University of Virginia as the school community grieves over the murders of 3 student athletes. The Transportation Department is penalizing Frontier Airlines for significant scheduling problems during the COVID-19 pandemic. And today is National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. Health experts say you should empty your refrigerator, throw out any recalled food items, and wash all removable parts. SoCal weather from KFI. Sunny day ahead with highs in the 60s, but we've got a Santa Ana wind event starting this evening, roughly 8 o'clock. That's when we have a wind warning that kicks in, and gusty winds should last all through the week. This report is brought to you by El Monte RVs. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places and back to the 10.
Well, I got the attention of some radios too. We're tackling the refrigerator routine, that's for sure. All right, those good news, especially if you're driving west on San Bernardino Freeway through the 710, going over towards the Pond County General Hospital, an extremely busy place, but good news, everything is open here. We had one of them problems we wanted to transition, so not to worry about it. I do want to warn you about word we got up west LA now, North 405 Wilshire Boulevard, north of the 10. Truck carrying cement bags. A friend of mine always reminds me, cement comes in bags, concrete comes in trucks. There's a truck right in the middle of the freeway. We're on the 710 right now. Boy, it sure is busy. We're going down towards the 405. We're reporting problem. But so far, in between the 5, we're almost over the 91. Both sides are crash-free. All lanes are open, but boy, there's a lot of volume here, that's for sure. Jeff Bond, KFI in the sky. When you're ready to hit the road, El Monte RV has a wide range of RVs to rent or buy. Their pet-friendly RVs come with updated amenities, and some even have slide-outs for more room when you need it. Experience the freedom of the open road. Visit elmonterv.com or call 800-337-2149. This report is sponsored by Lowe's. It's Pro Time. Because at Lowe's, it's November. Over 30 days to save big. Full of more inventory, more Lowe's MVP's bonus points, and more of the deals you deserve. Because it always pays to be a pro at Lowe's. Save all November long. Business honors Ricardo Gutierrez, owner of Veggie Roots Cabin. This week, Ricardo saved big and used an Amazon business to help his team buy commercial chicken fries at a quantity discount. Because even veggies can be fried.
I'm going to need 2 orders of fried today.
With business time easier than before, Ricardo now uses his extra time to focus on growing something big. Buy smarter, dream big. Visit Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. Italy. Oh. Enough is enough. It's time. Time to start demanding the best for yourself and the best for your life. It's time to call 4M Dental Implant Center for the beautiful and confident smile you've always wanted. Your teeth affect every part of your life, every introduction, every laugh. Every new experience starts and ends with your smile. Stop doubting yourself and stop doubting your smile. 4M is the leader in permanent teeth and one-day procedures and the only choice for a new and natural smile that will last a lifetime. Call now and get your consultation, x-ray, and CAT scan absolutely free. 4M Dental Implant Center for the life and smile you deserve. For change, for happiness, for you. 4M. Call 800-4M Dental today. Hey y'all, it's Team Truck. Let's talk about your windows. I know a couple of things about your sad, sorry windows. I know there's a whole slew of reasons why you want new ones. Lower energy bills, more peace and quiet, better curb appeal, and how about just windows that actually open and close? I also know we can talk all we want, but if they're not affordable, it's just not going to happen. I hear you, and I have an answer for you. Call Julie and Karen at Window World. I love Window World exactly because they specialize in windows perfectly positioned at that intersection of quality, beauty, and affordability. And Window World offers zero down, interest-free financing for up to 60 months. 6 windows and
But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, you need even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR positive, HER2 negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet count, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
You know the newest thing? They're so brazen. They walk very closely behind a guy, grabs the guy's cell phone while he's talking on it, and pulls it back, throwing it right out of his hand while he's on it. They want it unlocked. As a matter of fact, you get to finish the conversation the guy is at with the Tim Conway Jr. show. Now it's you and your phone. You're going to go right now weekday to 6 on KFI. And this is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Tuesday morning, November 15th. One of the stories that obviously we're carrying, the whole country is what happened Sunday night at University of Virginia. A student allegedly, I'm going to say shot and killed 3 university football players and wounded 2 others. And this was on a bus. It was coming back from a school event. It happened on campus, and it's another major mass shooting. I had said when we were listening to a press conference that I thought the police chief was going to say, this is extraordinarily good news I can give you about this shooting. Only 3 students were killed. And I don't think that's far from the truth. And so here's what we're getting, because obviously a lot of talk is going on again about gun control. We should do something, everybody should be armed. We had in Highland Park, 4th of July, park shooting, Tulsa, Oklahoma, of course, Uvalde, and there's a lot of shooting going on. And I'm going to give you a little bit of facts. This is not me saying, because I'm done with this, saying gun control, gun control, gun control. You know where I sit. But I do want to give you a little bit of perspective politically, and no other high-income country has anywhere close to the death toll we have from gun violence. Every day, 110 Americans die at the end of the gun, which includes suicide and homicides. We're talking 40,000 deaths per year. So since 2009, the average is 19 mass shootings that occur every year. And those are shootings in which at least 4 people were killed. And so our homicide rate is 26 times out of the next highest high-income country. The gun suicide rate is 12 times. So the death is 26 times. The suicide rate is only 12 times. And what gun control opponents do is typically frame the whole thing, the epidemic, on mental health issues. That's the problem. It's not people only gun. The problem is mental health, and we're not doing enough about that. Well, let me think that through for a moment. Every country has people with mental health issues. And some, it's pretty universal in terms of the number who are mentally ill. So those problems aren't unique. What's unique is our view of civilian gun ownership, the politics, the culture, the law, since this country was founded, because there are very few countries that were created out of an armed citizenry. So we have had some laws. This year there was a deal on limited gun reform for the first time in nearly 30 years, but it didn't stop guns from being sold. It didn't stop people from buying assault weapons, none of that. It was pretty small stuff. And we don't know how many privately owned guns there are in America. There's no database that goes across the country. And and we don't have any registration where people have to register their guns across the country, particularly with those guns. So the Small Arms Survey, which is a Swiss-based research group, that's looking to this across the country, says here in the U.S. approximately 390 million guns in circulation, and that was in 2018. Probably a lot more since then. 120 firearms per 100 residents. So it's 20% more than the number of people we have. About 20% than the number of people. And it's probably climbed in the years since, because during the pandemic, of course, 1 in 5 households bought guns. And Yemen has the world's second highest level of gun ownership. That's less than half as much, way less than half. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Now, here's something you may have not known. We think knowing that we have more guns than people in this country, actually only a tiny minority of households really do own guns. 3%, according to this survey, about half of the guns are owned by 3%. This is both the survey in Harvard and Northeastern University study. These people are called super owners, an average of 17 guns each. Oh, good. Now, Gallup has a different methodology, and they said 42% of Americans own guns. So we have big numbers. And here is some real science and stats. Clear link between gun ownership in the United States and gun violence. More guns, more violence. I mean, no one can get around now. There is definitely a link between gun deaths and gun ownership, much stronger than the link between violence and mental health. In other words, the number of guns have more to do with the violence and the mental health issue, by far. And if violent crime, if we got rid of all schizophrenia, all bipolarity, all depressive disorders, violent crime in the U.S. would fall by 4%. Because so many people have guns that are using too often. And the mental ill story actually is a red herring, according to these studies. And here's what's going on. The idea pushed by gun manufacturers, gun rights organizations, the NRA, for example, says the answer is further arming America. The answer is more people having guns. Because the more guns that are out there, the safer you're going to be, and that is just a direct contradiction to everything that's out there. Also, you have the self-defense narrative. That doesn't work either when you're talking about numbers. We hear about cases where some bad guy breaks into a home and a 92-year-old great-grandma takes a gun and either punches him or shoots him, and therefore, look at that. Or you have a witness takes out a gun and shoots the bad guy. Does it happen? Yeah. That percentage, tiny. And so self-defense is the answer. That is the answer from gun advocates. Eclipsing hunting, recreation, owning antiques, heirlooms, work-related, all of that. It is basically everything but self-protection. And then you have the U.S. Supreme Court, which has said gun ownership, Second Amendment is there. And if you look at the language of the Second Amendment, and this is the part that I have wondered about for many, many years, the Second Amendment reads as follows. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. When's the last time anyone's defined a well-regulated militia? Ever. Courts ignore that. Everybody ignores that. A well-regulated militia simply doesn't exist. In court cases like this, the 30s, but certainly not the Heller decision, which is relatively recent, and the way the courts are going. There's no such thing as a militia in this country. Oh no, there's a National Guard. I call that a militia, but no, it doesn't exist. It's only simply on its face the right to bear arms. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background and some real stats. And the bottom line for those people who say it's protection is crap, okay, and it's mental illness. That's the problem, not gun ownership. Just ask Ted Cruz. It's mental illness. That's the problem. And everybody should have a gun. That's one way of looking at it, and that's the way we do look at it here. All right, if I sound like a gun control in that case, I'm trying not to. Just wanted to give you some recent information. Coming up, Tech Tuesday with Rich DeMurro. We got a lot to cover on this Tuesday morning. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're not just in smart speakers. We're in a couple of smart ears as well. And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live from everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Starting to break away. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The race for mayor of LA is now separated by 29,000 votes. Karen Bass is pulled ahead of Rick Caruso as the mail-in ballots continue to be counted. In the race for LA County Sheriff, Robert Luna has 60% of the vote. Current Sheriff Alex Villanueva has 40%, and West Hollywood City Councilwoman Lindsay Horvath is ahead in the race to fill the seat on the County Board of Supervisors. She's ahead of State Senator Bob Hertzberg by more than 8,800 votes. The county registrar says more than 655,000 ballots still need to be counted. Jay Leno is recovering from gasoline burns to his face and hands.
Leno says the fire happened inside the garage in Burbank, where he keeps a large number of vintage cars and sports cars. The Burbank Police Department says Leno was injured Sunday and he was taken to the Grossman Burn Center in West Hills. The hospital says Leno is in stable condition and is in good humor and touched by all the inquiries into his condition and the well wishes. Leno's canceled his appearance for this Saturday at Clapper's Comics Club in Burbank and a show at the Financial Brands Forum in Las Vegas. Leno tweeted yesterday that he's okay, he just needs a week or two to get on his feet. Steve Gregory, Testify News.
Jennifer Newsom has testified in the sexual assault trial of Harvey Weinstein. The wife of Governor Newsom provided jurors yesterday with a graphic account of what she called a violent assault that lasted for over an hour. Newsom was the seventh woman to testify about how Weinstein used his status to pressure them to meet with him alone in hotel rooms where he could sexually assault them. She's expected to return to the stand today. Two French bulldogs have been ripped away from their owners on the 6th Street Bridge in LA.
The thieves pulled up on people walking their dogs Friday. One gun out and took the dogs at gunpoint. Owner of rare French bulldogs in Riverside, Michelle Krebs, says she warns her customers about the dogs being stolen. She says her dogs are never left alone.
People do know that I have these expensive dogs in the home and that I have a number of them.
Krebs says French bulldogs are averaging more than $3,000 right now. She says thieves often sell them at a lower price. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Former Dodger outfielder Yasiel Puig has pleaded guilty to lying to federal officials about bets on games he played with an illegal gambling operation. Puig has agreed to pay a fine of at least $55,000. He is expected to appear in federal court in LA today. Former President Trump is expected to announce he will enter the 2024 presidential race at a rally at Mar-a-Lago. Trump has experienced a setback following his party's midterm performance. Many candidates he backed in high-profile contests were defeated. The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol says it's considering the next steps in former President Trump with a no-show for his deposition. It was supposed to happen yesterday. Former Vice President Pence says President Trump's words during the rally on January 6th were reckless. Pence told ABC News' David Muir he was angered by a tweet Trump sent that day saying Pence didn't have the courage to do what should be done.
I told him, despite what you issued last night from your campaign, Mr. President, very clear that I don't have the authority to reject votes.
Pence also says he told Trump many times they lost the election and reminded the president they both took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. The house in Ohio used as the setting in the 1983 classic A Christmas Story is up for sale. The owners bought it for $150,000 in 2006, spent $200,000 making it exactly like the house in the movie. You know, the one where Ralphie pines for a certain Christmas present.
Horrified. I hurt myself blurted out.
I was just a winner to come in next to Jewish showings all Aaron.
Now, realtor Chad Whitmer says the house is part of a package.
There's a museum, officer's house, a gift shop, some parking lots.
He says it's for sale because the owners are looking for a new venture. We'll get a look at your job on the 405, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Clippers are still without Kawhi Leonard, but that didn't stop them from beating the Houston Rockets 122-106. Coach Ty Lue did have some concerns early in that game.
Yeah, we could have got some better shots, and we took some questionable shots early on. Then at halftime, we just addressed it like we can get any shot we want to get.
The Clips moved to the Dallas Mavericks at 5:30 today live on 8570 LA Sports. In hockey, the Kings lost to the Calgary Flames 6-5. The Ducks beat the Detroit Red Wings at 7. I'm Wayne Westman, KFI Sports.
Checking your KFI financial report, the Dow is up 209, S&P up 44, NASDAQ up 207, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $5.43. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a sunny start to the day and temperatures in the 60s, but the gusty winds are going to kick in. We've got Santa Ana winds starting tonight around 8. That's when we have a wind advisory that also starts. The gusty winds should last off and on through about Friday. Warmer temperatures in the forecast will be in the 70s, and we do have low humidity in the forecast, so that will raise our fire danger. Right now, it is 50 right here in Burbank, 53 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Let's get a look at your drive and meet KFI and Exciting 405.
Yeah, good morning, boy. It sure is gorgeous out here, that's for sure. But that's so gorgeous on our freeways. A lot of volume wherever I look. Now, right now, there's big queue right over the 405 710. The northbound drive now from COB to all the way up. Well, it's getting pretty slow. Again, there's a lot of volume everywhere, but thankfully, no major crashes. I think the slowest section for you as we continue up towards LAX will be getting through the 110 up to about Ortiz Boulevard, and then things will improve. And there's one little mystery to me. If you're south on the 710, number one, heading down to the docks, so we just came over a little bit ago, boys, busy down there. But going south 710, starting at the 105 down to the 91, going west 91 and getting off in Alameda, there's something going on there. All of that traffic is just backed up, especially the white lanes. South 710 approaching 91, so a little patience to get you through. But again, once you get through that, you'll be okay in the docks. And northbound, once you clear Firestone, I think you'll be in pretty good shape. But they're only about around West LA, around northbound 405 to Wilshire Boulevard, so I'll check on that for you. The Santa Monica Freeway has been busy beyond belief this morning, going west starting about Vermont. So more and all that coming up. Be careful. Jeff on KFI in the sky. This hour of the Bill Handel Show is brought to you by WDC Kitchen and Bath Center. Find the largest selection of in-stock appliances in Southern California at WDCappliances.com. WDCappliances.com. If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage and they'll make you a cash offer with no need for repairs. With Seller's Advantage, there are no agents. They can close in days and they buy with cash. And they offer a $10,000 advance to help with moving. Check out their reviews online and call for no obligation offer at 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, and visit sellersadvantage.com. Don't worry, self-tapping with Seller's Advantage. PRE number 0961658. It's Ryan Seacrest here. So, you tested positive for COVID. What's next? Treat yourself. COVID treatments are free. Taken by pill, these medications can stop these illnesses from getting serious. So treat yourself. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find free treatment today. That's 833-422-4255. Again, 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health. Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME, 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California, and Attorney Advertising. Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate. More stimulating talk. All the latest on gadgets and stuff with KFI's president and some third. It's Tech Tuesday with Rich DeMiro. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's Tuesday morning, November 15th. Karen Bass here in Los Angeles. Looks like she's taking the lead by more and more over Rick Caruso. She's ahead by 29,000 votes in the mayoral race, and the numbers are getting bigger, so it's fair to say she's basically going to do it, win the race. Amazon laying off approximately 10,000 people in corporate technology jobs, and that may be one of the topics that we talked with KPLH Tech and our tech reporter, Rich Demuro. Morning, Rich.
Good morning to you, Bill.
Okay, boy, we have a lot of stuff to cover. First of all, the failure of the crypto company FTX. I mean, it's billions of dollars that people may have lost going bankrupt, and the head of it was worth $12 billion yesterday. Today's broke. How does that affect the whole crypto world in general?
Well, I think there's a couple things going on here. Number one, we know the story. Basically, FTX was a pretty big platform for purchasing crypto, and a lot of people have their money in there to the tune of billions of dollars, and of course it failed because the founder was doing some pretty shady stuff, it seems. This is all allegedly, the details are still coming out, but basically he was taking customer deposits, and which is a big no-no to do this, and using them to invest in his hedge fund business. And that is just like number one no-no. You can't, the money that you put in the bank, like the bank has to be able to give it back to you when you call it. And that's what happened is that they couldn't give this money back to people. It was all gone.
Was it a run on the company?
There was. When people started getting wind of the fact that, wait, what's going on here? They started asking for withdrawals. And the company said, no, we're freezing withdrawals right now because we're trying to figure out what's going on. Realistically, there was no money for the withdrawals. I mean, there is some money on the balance sheet that this company has that they will try to get to, creditors and people that have money in there, but good luck with that. But, the bigger crypto picture at large, you might feel like this is a failure of crypto. And if you look at the details, it's really not. It's a failure of this platform that held people's investments in crypto to actually hold them in the proper way. They were going against all the rules that are written about this stuff.
Right? It's criminal activity is what it is. I mean, straight out fraud and criminality.
It was a Ponzi scheme. There was a fraud and yeah, exactly. And so I think, crypto has had a rough year, had a rough go, but this doesn't mean that crypto is a failure. It means that you got to be really careful about where you put your money. And I've been listening to interviews with other crypto exchanges like, Coinbase and some other ones out there, and all the founders of these are saying, look, we're not set up this way. We don't do things that way. And so you shouldn't feel like you need to pull your stuff out immediately if you have this in a different exchange. But the other lesson learned here, Bill, is that there's two ways of holding crypto. It is through a third-party platform, let's say PayPal you can buy crypto through, or Coinbase, or Robinhood, or any of these platforms. Or you can kind of own your own wallet, which is way more complicated, only for the real tech savvy, and that's why most people don't do that. It's kind of like, I'm sure there's different ways of buying stocks, where you go through like E-Trade, or actually knowing how to buy stocks through like a real, stock company, whatever. Same thing with crypto. So anyway, I think that this is just one of those situations where it took a bad name for the entire industry, but what was going on here was, like you said, allegedly criminal activity.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the holders of crypto. Effectively, they're escrow companies, trust companies that are holding it. If no one knows I have crypto, how are they holding on to crypto, and how do they even know how much I have?
Well, they do know. I mean, so that's the thing. Like, people think that crypto is, anonymous. It's not necessarily anonymous. Now, like I said, if you set up your own wallet and you did it like the actual way that the cryptocurrency is structured, where you go in, you set up your own key and your own wallet, and it's all on the blockchain, and you're not going through like a third-party proxy, then yeah, it's linked to you, but only you know that. When you go through one of these third-party sites, like a Robinhood or PayPal or anywhere else you can buy crypto, you sign up with that service just like you would any bank account or any sort of financial service, and of course they link that to you. Now, people on the chain, when they're looking at that, may not see your name associated with it, but they'll see a number, and that number could be associated with you eventually somehow. And of course, if the government wants to figure that out, which is another thing for a while. It seems to actually be back up to where it was. In fact, I think it's actually past 5 days. It's only down about 4%. So that's not too bad. Considering the last year it's been down 75%.
And before we take a break, real quickly, are you investing in crypto?
I've got a small position, not too much. Half of what I had last year. Let's go half.
Let's go back and talk about a few other things that are going on. Apple and DoorDash with a new safety feature for delivery drivers. I think I have the answer, and you're going to tell me whether that's true or not. We'll be right back with Rich tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take it with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The capital of Ukraine's under attack as that nation's war against Russia pushes on. The mayor of Kyiv said there's been an attack launched on the city. Former President Trump is expected to launch his 2024 presidential campaign tonight from Florida, and postal inspectors in Washington, D.C. are joining the investigation into completed ballots in Northern California found down a ravine in the Santa Cruz Mountains. SoCal weather from KFI. Sunny today, mid-60s for the temperatures. Very windy starting tonight. And those gusty Santa Ana should last off and on through Friday. This report is brought to you by El Monte RVs. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places and update the 710.
You guys, we're over the 710 91 interchange from North Long Beach. I'm sure you've seen that emoji with the guy slapping his forehead. That's me. Gosh, I discovered the problem here. Listen up. North and South 710 transitions to the East 91 is shut down. That's what all that southbound Florida I was trying to warn you about. North and South 710 to East 91 shut down. Now, especially on the southbound side of the 710, people are being diverted to West 91 and they're trying to get off at Long Beach Boulevard. So it's a mess around here. Getting off before or after that transition to go over Cherry, any of those on-ramps will get you over to the East 91. So long time delays. Again, I'll repeat this. North and South 710 transition to the East 91. It's shut down for a while. They're repaving some. Jeff Fog, AFI in the sky. Tired of the BS? We spent $500,000 at risk. Result $8 million for registered motorcyclists. This report is sponsored by the California DMV. Did you know that many DMV tasks, like renewing your registration or changing your address, can be done online when it's convenient for you? Check them off your to-do list without a trip to the DMV. Get started today at dmv.ca.gov/online.
I guess that's why they call it the Blues, because Elton John is returning to the home of the boys in blue for a repeat of his legendary performance at Dodger Stadium in LA with a live streaming event on Disney Plus. Sunday, November 20th, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. You can experience it live from the front row on Disney Plus. Their Elton's final tour in North America will pull out all the stops with all the hits and a guest list full of A-listers. Elton John Live, Farewell from Dodger Stadium, a global live streaming event, Sunday, November 20th, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, only on Disney Plus. Running out of hot water? Might be time for a new water heater. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Quick 5-star rated service. Friendly local technicians, low prices, and 0% deferred interest financing. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Terms and conditions apply. Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how easy it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AA, MCO. Special financing available. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details. Contact your license 247-781.
Y'all need a guard dog for your plumbing. Yeah, are you talking about Baby Guard Dog Protection? Yep, and it's available exclusively from the Backlist for just $14.95 a month. Sing your song back yesterday. When your home has Sadie's Guard Dog Protection, Kettle will send out a plumber with a 30-foot drain cable to open your stop-and-up drains at no charge. You save $80. And that's the Kettle price. Kettle Air Conditioning and Plumbing. GOETTL.com. We do things the right way, not the easy way.
Worry or frustrated. How will help access Calvo free and secure mental health resources? Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calvo.org.
The old system was really efficient. This system is absurdly inefficient. They believe, though, that voting by mail adds a lot more voters to the mix because they're just too lazy to go to vote. Why is it so difficult to go to a
for 5 minutes. John and Ken of the state Stonehenge. It's kind of system for a reason. Weekday to 2 on KFI. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handle here. And before we get back to Tech Tuesday with Rich tomorrow, I want to now announce the giveaway. Holidays are here at Disneyland Resort. KFI wants to send you to experience the joy of Disney for the holiday. The castle, your castle covered in festive lights. Festival, the Disney Festival holidays, a live Viva Navidad street party through January 8th. And park tickets and park reservations are required. Go to Disneyland.com for details. The offerings are subject to capacity restrictions. Change without notice. Caller number 6 wins a 4-pack. And you get to go to the Disneyland Resort. 800-520-1534. 800-520-1534. So you get to win. It's a 4-pack. And if you've ever been to Disneyland, that's no small deal, to say the least. All right, back we go to Rich DeMuro. Our tech reporter is Instagram at Rich on Tech. All right, Rich, one of the stories we're going to cover is DoorDash has a new safety feature for delivery drivers. And if I were making the decision, that gets real easy. Just put an armed guard in every car and then just shoot whoever else was the driver. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
There you go.
I mean, it would probably make deliveries a little bit more expensive.
And it's safer for the drivers. So what are they doing other than just using technology and videoing and recording everything?
So it's funny because they say that about 99.99% of deliveries are totally fine. Everything goes okay. But clearly there are instances where things happen. So a couple of new things they're doing. Number one, a check-in. It's called Safe Dash. So if the AI detects that a delivery is taking longer than expected, we're not talking, you're waiting for your pizza and you're just, wanting it faster. We're talking there could be something going wrong, right, with the driver. And so the system will automatically call the driver. They're actually partnering with ADT to do a safety check and say, hey, are you okay? Can we get you 911? Is everything okay? So they're going to start that in New York City and Washington, D.C., and then roll it out across the U.S. Then there's a thing called safety alerts. So they're partnering with another company to basically send drivers alerts if there's any sort of active delivery in an area where there's a major issue. And we're talking, they reference active shootings, bomb threats, building fires. I mean, it's pretty sad that this platform has to think about active shootings and bomb threats in their deliveries. But, it's the reality of the world we live in. And so they don't want a driver driving into a scene that, maybe a school where there's a shooting or, something like we just saw. And, they're trying to deliver their lunch to this person and, the whole place is closed down.
What are the safety factors right now? What do they do for driver safety and I'm assuming passenger safety too?
Well, DoorDash doesn't have passengers, but I know that
Sorry. I'm assuming the same technology is going to go, maybe not, to the
Ubers and Lyft of the world. Yeah, absolutely. No, they're all putting a lot of emphasis on security because we've seen so many incidents in the news, and Uber's doing a lot of stuff as well. In fact, there's this thing that I've done the other day where it asked me if everything was okay because my trip was taking longer than expected. And so I got a little pop-up on my phone that said, hey, is everything okay? Because, we thought that you were supposed to get dropped off here, but you're getting dropped off over here. And I think we had made like a stop or something extra, and that's why it happened. But again, a lot of these tech companies are using their AI and things they've learned, the patterns they've learned over the years to make things safer. The other thing I thought was interesting with DoorDash is that they are doing something very simple, but they're sending porch light reminders to people. So before you get your delivery, they're saying, hey, would you mind turning on the lights outside your house?
That's a clever idea. Never occurred to me. Someone's got a raise for that one. Hey, do they use a GPS in terms of following drivers? For example, if someone, clearly the driver is going from A to B and clearly is on the phone. If he veers off, does it tell the delivery service that we have a veering off? The GPS says exactly where they are?
Oh, absolutely. These apps, I haven't read these specific privacy policies, but I would imagine, and I know from, some of the features that I've heard over the years, that these apps, they're not just recording where the person's going, but, if you're running something like the Uber app, you can imagine, or like a ride-sharing app, you have to imagine that ride-sharing app is collecting not only how fast that car is going, but also how it's driving. I mean, there's so many sensors in the iPhone that I've always said this. Uber can easily tell if the driver is holding the phone in their hand because if the sensors are picking up different, different messages than they are if it's being, held in sort of a dashboard mount, right? Because the phone is being jostled around. And so with that, they can give that driver a lower safety score and they can give them less drive. Now, I'm not saying all this stuff is happening now, but there are definitely indications over the years that we've seen from companies like Lyft and Uber that they do take a lot of things into consideration, more so than you might think.
Does DoorDash know the topping of the pizza that I ordered?
Yes, they do. In fact, Bill, this is a funny story last night. So I ordered a couple pizzas. I'm outside, and the guy pulls up, to deliver the pizza. Now, I don't know if you've gotten delivery throughout the pandemic, but nowadays they leave everything, they basically ring and run. Right. They leave it on your doorstep, and then they get out of there before you can even, answer the door. And so thankfully last night I happened to be outside playing basketball when the delivery driver showed up because I said, hey, those pizzas don't look like mine. And they were extra large, and I ordered a couple mediums. And he goes, oh, you're right, I've got a couple orders in here. This is not yours. So if he would have just left the pizzas on my front door, I would have been eating totally different pizzas than I ordered last night.
Yeah, right. You also get, did you get it from one of the national chains or the local pizza
Yes, no, this time I went national to have a free pizza, so from Domino's.
Okay, I love their pan pizza, and I'm the only person I know that their whole formula that tastes like cardboard with bad tomato sauce on it. I really was very excited they changed that. But the good news is you can call them and say, hey, you screwed up the order, and now I want some free pizza, and they'll deliver it. One last one before we go. The virtual clinic on Amazon, and that's prescription for allergies, hair loss. So is it for anything beyond sort of basic medicine, antibiotics, or specified medicine?
I think what they're doing here is, I don't know if you've ever watched sports lately, but you see all those ads that they have for all these online prescription clinics that you can get drugs from. They say 20 common health conditions. So allergies, acne, hair loss, but if you dig a little bit further, they're doing a lot more than that. They're doing a lot of prescription medications. And so I think that what they're doing is they're trying to, they're doing telehealth. And so they're just seeing, what do people need medication from, right? And that's what they're competing with.
Yeah, as funny as it seems, you would think on sports programs it would be ED medication.
That was something they mentioned, actually.
Yeah, with well, I personally like the disclaimers. A erection that lasts more than 4 hours, and uncontrolled erection, and oily stools. Those are my two absolute favorite side effects.
Yeah, well, the third, probably doesn't go well with the other two.
Yeah, probably not. Now, is this these virtual clinics? I mean, you already have it on telemedicine. Your doctor will do it. I mean, they can't prescribe the opiates, but short of that, they can prescribe everything else. So, what's the difference between telemedicine and Amazon? Is it simply the reach? Is it simply the what? That's it, huh?
I think it's the reach. I think it's the fact that they bought this one medical clinic, so Amazon's really making a push into healthcare. I'm not sure if they're going to make a big dent because healthcare historically has been very challenging for newcomers to get onto the scene and to make any significant difference. We've seen a lot of these medical clinics pop open, these national chains, and they have some impact, but these big companies really control a lot of it. I think when it comes to the online stuff with the prescriptions and the online meds and the telehealth, we've seen a lot of that going on. But, some people may take issue with that. It's easier to get drugs these days from these online clinics, but is that necessarily a good thing for everyone when sometimes there's more going on than meets the eye? And a lot of these drugs, sometimes are things people aren't comfortable talking to their primary physician about, and so they do seek these other clinics. And I think with Amazon specifically, the privacy concern, people may not want Amazon to have all of their ED meds mixed in with their, cereal that they're going to deliver.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I'll talk about my issues all day long. So if there's medication out there that I'm getting
that is both for baldness and girth. And yeah, pretty impressive. That's a 2-in-1. That certainly is. Rich, always a pleasure. The Instagram address is @RichOnTech. And we'll talk again next Tuesday. Have a good one, Rich. Thanks. All right, coming on handle on the news late edition. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A judge has delayed approving the settlement of a lawsuit over the homeless crisis in L.A. A federal judge says he wants to wait to see who becomes the next mayor of L.A. The judge yesterday indicated that the city and the county can do better in figuring out how to bring increased housing, outreach, and supportive services to the thousands of people living on the streets. The L.A. Alliance for Human Rights filed a lawsuit in 2020 accusing the city and county of not doing enough to address the homeless problem. A court hearing is expected in January once the election results are finalized. Deborah Mark, KFI News. NASA JPL says it plans to launch a satellite December 5th to measure every body of water on the planet. Mission scientist Nadia Schiffer says the surface water and ocean topography mission known as SWOT will observe the fine details of the ocean surface topography and measure how water bodies can change over time.
Essentially, SWOT will give us this missing connection between the water sources and water sinks, between the water movement and water storage, between water supply and water demand, between ocean and land.
The mission is a partnership between the U.S. and space agencies from Canada, France, and the U.K. Schiffer says they hope to learn how to predict and react to drought and climate change. Warner says the leadership of the former El Monte police chief helped the community heal after the fatal shooting of 2 officers.
It is a great sadness that we mourn the loss of our brothers, Keith and Lowry.
Lowry was appointed chief this past summer, shortly after the officers were killed.
Most were unaware. Then had just received news of what would amount to a terminal diagnosis of his cancer.
Sam Lowry said yesterday his brother didn't allow an announcement when he became chief, nor did he want people to know about the cancer.
He would not allow even the slightest bit of attention to be taken from his fallen officers.
Lowry is 45. He's survived by a wife and 4 children.
In March, October 24th, 2022.
Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Democrat Katie Hobbs has been projected the winner in the race for governor of Arizona. The contest with Republican Carrie Lake was close. Officials say the results took a while because a record number of early ballots were dropped off on Election Day in Maricopa County. And looks like rats are born this way too. Researchers at the University of Tokyo say they played lady dog-toms for rats and people alike. Studies suggest rats can recognize and move to the rhythm of a beat. Like humans who participated in the study, the rats bobbed their heads to music between 120 and 140 beats a minute and did it on their own, hadn't been trained to do it. Researchers also played Mozart, Michael Jackson's Beat It, Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, and Maroon 5's Sugar with the Rat. Amy King, KFI News. We're going to look at your drive on the 5 after sports with Wayne.
Paul George was the scoring leader for the Clippers with 22 points as LA beat the Houston Rockets 122-106. They play the Mavericks in Dallas at 5:30 today, and that game is live on AM 570 LA Sports. In hockey, the LA Kings lost to the Calgary Flames 6-5. The Ducks get the Detroit Red Wings tonight at 7. And former Dodger Yasiel Puig has reached the field to plead guilty to making a false statement for lying to federal authorities during an investigation of a sports gambling ring. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. You know, I've been a small business person virtually my entire life. And over the years, on several occasions, I got nailed on HR issues. And like most small to medium-sized business owners, I couldn't afford an HR person. You certainly can if you're a small business person. Well, here's the answer, Bambi.com. It is an answer and some good ones. With Bambi, you get an HR person starting at only $99 a month. Now, if that sounds too good to be true, I thought so too. This is for real. Bambi helps you deal with your HR problems like writing HR policies, sexual harassment training, hostile work environment, terminations, that's where I got nailed. People complaining about other employees, all of them putting you and your business at risk. With Bambi, you get access to your own dedicated HR manager available by phone, email, real-time chat. Go to Bambi.com, type in KFI into the radio drop-down when you sign up. I get the credit, thank you. B-A-M-B-E-E, spelled B-E-E, Bambi.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. Mostly sunny today with highs in the upper 60s, but we've got a Santa Ana wind event, possibly the strongest we've had this season, even the year. roughly 8-ish, and that's when we've got a wind warning in effect as well. Those gusty winds look like they will last off and on through Friday, and temperatures will warm as the week goes on. Highs will be in the 70s. Let's get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky. Now we've got a crash on the 5.
Boy, do we ever. Good morning, Jim. Now, wherever you're going, really, we've got a lot of volume on all our freeways, but we're over a bad crash right now. If you have to drive the North 5 or the North 170 up towards the 118, right in the middle, this is the North 5 at Osborne. We've got a whole bunch of lanes blocked. City fires down there with a whole bunch of people in cars and trucks. Looks like the carpool lane is open and maybe a right and a collector lane open. The bottom line is that northbound 170, that stops at well before Roscoe Boulevard, coming away from Sherman Way, and the North 5 is now backing up severely through Lancaster. So two freeways are backed up. Now, using any surface street, if you can, if you have that option now, Laurel, San Fernando Road, Glen Oaks, any of those, if you get on or back on, in this case, the North 5 at Osborne, you'll be north of the Province on your way. Again, we got a lot of lanes blocked here and a lot of activity. Even southbound, there's always volume coming down from the 118. It's much slower with all lanes open, so people working across the freeway. The other big problem I want to warn you about is North Palm Beach. North and South 710 transition to the East 91. That's what's shut down, and everybody's going to the West 91. That's really a circus down there, so give yourself plenty of time, and please do be careful. More on all this coming up. Jeff Bond on KFI in the sky.
Attention I-10 freeway drivers. Freeway and ramp closures are coming up for the I-10 Express Lanes project. Don't get stuck. For dates and detours, visit go.fccta.com. That's go.fccta.com for more information on the I-10 Express Lanes project. It's time to celebrate the holidays and each other safely. No matter what's going on out there, in here, your loved ones are protected. Just deposit a code to keep all surfaces clean, sanitized, and safe this holiday season. From your carpet to your air duct to your upholstery and more. We'll help keep your home healthy for the holidays. Call 800-4-QUIT today and save 35%.
By now, you've heard the news. Vaccine boosters are available for eligible Californians. Boosters support stronger immunity and help maximize protection against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. That's myturn.ca.gov. Stay healthy and strong. Get boosted. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hey, come here. Let's talk about water and money, because folks are pretty scared right now. So what do you spend on bottled water every month? Like $50 a month? Out there for nothing down and only $45 a month. You can order Puritan water, whole house water filtration, conditioning, and descaling system. It comes with a free 6-stage alkaline water system and free installation. And if that wasn't enough, you're also going to get free annual testing, unlimited service calls, and lifetime servicing. Get pure water from your tap with no chemicals and nothing down for just $45 a month. That's only 7 lattes. You can do that, right? Oh, and did I mention you own the system? Go online and look up Puritan water. Their 5-star reviews are everywhere. Things on with this fresh water. I've had Puritan for about a year now, and I love that my family's safe from harmful chemicals. Pretty cool, right? So dump the bottle, call 844-80-WATER, 844-80-WATER, or the website, PURagainwater.com. PURagainwater.com. That's PuritanWater.com. Warning, your heater may be unsafe. Don't turn on your heater again without calling Next Gen HVAC and Plumbing for a safety inspection and tune-up. Only $68 for a limited time. Only $68 for safety and peace of mind. Termite problems? Search PacificCoastTermite.com or call 800-PACIFIC. We're putting the media back in social media. Follow us now everywhere at KFI AM 640. Talk radio. We're all experts, right? We're brilliant. Just ask me a question. I'll tell you the answer instantly. And the love of news. Oh, late edition. Now, Bill Handle. Good morning, Bill Handle here. Tuesday morning, November 15th, we enter the next segment of our show. First of all, it's Handle on the News late edition, and second of all, it's Handle on the News late edition. Brought to you by DirectBuyers.com, the hassle-free way to sell
sell your home at a fair price in 10 days or fewer. Visit directbuyers.com. Jennifer, Wayne, me, late edition Lee Sorry. Well, we're looking at Santa Ana's blowing through Southern California. And when Santa Ana's happening, it's an increased fire danger both today and tomorrow. Arriving tonight and what we see humidity 8 to 15% of 40 to 60 miles an hour. Yes, I mean, I know the people in Florida are laughing about that because they would love to have wind that's only 60 miles an hour, but still, those are some powerful gusts.
We got a wind warning that starts at 8 o'clock tonight, goes until at least 10, but even more than this, I've seen sort of the extended forecast. Looks like we could have gusty winds off and on for Friday.
That sounds like
Oh, yeah. Russia has launched airstrikes across Ukraine. We started seeing a couple of apartment buildings that got hit in Kyiv this morning. And the Ukrainian foreign minister said in a tweet that the strike should put an end to pressure for peace talks with Russia.
Now, I know where to go with these talks. And all Ukraine wants is all this territory return, including Crimea. The Russians back to behind their borders, the old borders for Crimea. And let's talk about war crimes for every one of those soldiers that committed those crimes in Ukraine. Yeah, that's going to happen in this life. But the horrible part is the airstrikes keep on being launched. And even if Ukrainians are able to bring the Russians to the border and put the Russian forces behind their own border, I don't think the attacks are going to stop. You're going to see the cruise missiles, you're going to see the constant barrage, and certainly the area that they're calling Russian territory, Donetsk, Luhansk, the Donbass, is going to be decimated. It already is. But it's going to be, Hiroshima by the time this is said and done. Well, President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is now on indefinite hold. The panel with the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals issued a preliminary injunction. So now it can't be activated until after all the court stuff. If it's upheld, only then will it be reactivated. And the entire issue is, does the president have the authority? I mean, that's the issue. Can he do it? Can he not do it? We'll find out how that works. And I'm going to talk more about this coming up at 9 o'clock. And then I'm going to say something about it that's fairly controversial. And the way other countries do it. And they assume there are dumb people in this world, and we don't in the United States. We have no dumb people. I will explain that at 9. Yeah, I know. Whoa! Yeah, I'll explain that at 9.
All right, it was November 2nd that we talked about CVS, Walgreens, each saying they would pay about $5 billion to settle opioid nationwide lawsuits. Now Walmart is the latest to join the same trend. It has reached a $3.1 billion opioid nationwide settlement.
How much is that total so far? You got Purdue is $12 billion. You got the Sackler family, I think it's $3 billion. And individually, you have distributors, McKesson, which is the big distributor in the country. I don't remember how many billion. I mean, this has to be $50-60 billion so far. It's over $50 billion. Pardon? It's over $50 billion. Not quite 60 yet. But that has to go to everybody. The states, individuals, counties, cities, and people. Yeah, it's all 100,000 people a year die of the opioid overdoses. I figured that one out over the last 10 years. Well, the Department of Transportation has announced that since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, airlines have had to pay out over $600 million in refunds to people for flights that were canceled or changed. Okay. Some airlines apparently haven't been following the rules, though, and they are getting fined. $7.25 million in fines against 6 airlines for extreme delays in giving those required refunds to passengers. There's only one U.S. airline on that list, and it's, take a guess, Frontier.
Yeah, no one would have guessed that one, huh? And then I'm a little surprised at one of these. Air India, TAP Portugal, Aero Mexico, LO International Airline is on this short list of airlines that took too long to get people refunds when they canceled their flights. Quick story, I told you about my very dear friend who was a pilot. He was a pilot with the Israeli Defense Forces. He flew F-16 for 20 years. And then he went to LO, became a pilot with LO. And I told him, your last day that you're flying, last day on LO as a pilot, you have to say, ladies and gentlemen, we're flying at 35,000 feet today, but for you, 32,000. Did he do it? No. No, bastard. Take a break. We'll come back and finish up the handle on the news. Late edition, Jennifer Jones Lee, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
This is day 2 of a college strike across California. About 48,000 UC workers, from researchers to teaching assistants, are picketing for higher pay at 10 campuses. The White House is issuing a proclamation for America Recycles Day. The Biden administration is promoting the benefits of recycling today for health and the environment. And a woman facing charges after authorities allegedly found a huge amount of cocaine hidden in the wheelchair at JFK Airport that she was riding in. Apparently, the cocaine had been stuffed in the wheels of the wheelchair, and the wheelchair wouldn't roll. SoCal weather from KFI. It's a sunny day ahead. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s, and we've got gusty winds kicking in tonight. Roughly 8 o'clock, that's when we have a wind warning and gusty winds through the week. This report is brought to you by the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. This time, just taking a look at the 5 employment.
See an episode of Dumb Criminals coming up on that story if it is there. I have some wonderful news now. Viewers are coming around here. This North 5 a little bit before Osborne, coming through for Klima. Clearing very quickly. I must give tip of that to City Fire and CHP and everybody. But most of the freeway was shut down. Again, this is North 5 before Osborne, which is just north of the 170 and the 5 birds, so you know it's coming. Before it's all lanes open. The 5 really slow coming up from Lancashire, and the 170 from a little bit north of Sherman Way, but it should get back up to speed pretty quickly. And miles away to the south, North 5 and El Toro Road, another big problem there with a couple lanes blocked. This is coming up through Mission Dale towards Lake Forest, so a long time delay. We'll follow up with folks. Be careful. Jeff Fog, KFI in the sky.
Attention I-10 freeway drivers. Freeway and ramp closures are coming up for the I-10 Express Lanes project. Don't get stuck. For dates and detours, visit gofccta.com. That's gofccta.com for more information on the I-10 Express Lanes project. This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Temperatures getting low, but demand remaining high? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, it's Steve Sharp. Every home in America, including yours, is going full electric faster than any of us ever imagined. You need to be ready by going solar with a complete solar solution from Sunlight. Solar that cancels your power bill, a Tesla Powerwall battery, and electric vehicle ready from the only company I have trusted to put solar on my own home, Sunlux. Sunlux is your source for complete solar solutions. Get yours today at sunlux.com. Sunlux.com. CSL B100. Contact your license 1047-781. Drop that. Just one thing to say. Now, we do it all. What do you mean by all? We can fix your water leaks, drip your faucets, run your toilets, add a water supply for any faucet, replace your garbage disposal, unclog your drain, and we can repair your underground sewer lines or close cabin. You fix underground sewer lines without digging? Yeah, can we do? Like I said, we do it all. Kettle air conditioning and plumbing. GOETTL.com. We do things the right way, not the easy way. You. Y-O-U. 3 little letters make a very small word.
That means so many things. Because no you is ever one single thing.
You.
It's kind of the starting to change everything. Giving attention to the way you kind of makes you wonder how big you can become when you
Comes first. Quality health care with award-winning service for every youth. Blue Shield in California.
Our electric bills are pretty high.
I'm concerned about the condition of our infrastructure.
We've told in California that the fires, they said that they're going to shut off the power, needs to be shut off for longer periods than usual.
I look at our electric bills, they keep going up and up and up.
We've had to find a solution to our energy bill.
Your home is an ecosystem. Solar power, battery storage, and efficient air conditioning all work together to ensure your house is comfortable, protected, and self-sustaining. Save today and prepare for tomorrow with Semper 360, the all-in-one home energy solution.
The savings are better than what I expected. I said, I want the 18. This was the 18.
From the beginning to the end, it has been the best.
Declare your energy independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar, battery, and air contractor. Take advantage of the 30% federal solar tax credit. Zero down, zero interest, and zero payments for 12 months. For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit SemperSolaris.com. Expires November 30th, 2022. TSLP 978-152. By now, you've heard the news. Vaccine boosters are available for eligible Californians. Boosters support stronger immunity and help maximize protection against COVID-19 and its variants. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find out if you're eligible and to find a booster near you. That's myturn.ca.gov. Stay healthy and strong. Get boosted. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Survivors of third child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME, 121 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising.
Sail with American Cruise Voyages, where history comes alive and discovery runs deep. Enriching adventures await in North America's mighty rivers, Great Lakes, oceans, and expeditions to the wilds of Alaska. Visit American Cruise Voyages at aqvoyages.com, cruising North America now. Call 844-744-0794 or contact your travel professional. American Cruise Voyages, discovery runs deep.
Join us on Thanksgiving Eve for our iHeartRadio Holiday Special 2022, starring John Legend, Alicia Keys, Backstreet Boys, Meghan Trainor, and Dan and Shay, November 23rd, starting at 7 p.m. on the free iHeartRadio app.
Don't let COVID get in the way of your holiday cheer this year. Updated vaccines are now available for everyone 5 and up. Learn more at vaccines.gov and have a happy and safe holiday season. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Portions of the following program will be recorded. I was offered a ride in their helicopter. My brother wanted to come. He had about $30 worth of Denny's food. Got caught circling. A lot of G-force. That bag was full.
Did he really? He lost his moves over Miami?
Moons over Miami. The Tim Conway Jr. Show. Yeah, weeknights at 10 midnight on KMI.
AM 641 everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here with the morning crew. Let's finish handle on the news-weighted issue. Jennifer Jones-Lee, Wayne Neely.
Tomorrow, NASA is hoping that it can finally have liftoff of its new moon rocket Artemis after determining that the hurricane damage did not have that big of a risk to the test flight. So they say that they're comfortable with it flying as it is, but because of the hurricane, they have all kinds of delays and issues with it, and so now they think that tomorrow will be the day they'll finally get it off the ground.
It's the super heavy rocket. It's not made by Musk either. It's like the Falcon X. It's not. It's Northrop Grumman who makes it. And Northrop Grumman's been around forever. And in the story, and I love this story, it's not enough space stuff. The New Zealanders launched a NASA satellite. And it's a microwave oven size, the story goes. Isn't that? So it's going to circle the moon, and you can cook your food in it too. It just it does a lot.
It's super.
Yeah. Well, the judge overseeing this never-ending lawsuit between the LA Alliance for Human Rights and LA County about the homeless says he's still going to delay his decision on the proposed settlement because he wants to wait to see who wins the LA mayor race and then make them come in and talk to them about it. David Carter. David, oh, what a pain in the butt, Carter. He's been involved in homelessness for years and years. He's the guy, even to the point where this he's very, listen, to his credit, he is very hands-on. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's not afraid to work. He often works very long hours. The downside, he's a massive pain in the keister to work with. You work with him, yeah? And with this, I'm no longer touchable for my constitutionally protected opinion about a guy. So anyway, he doesn't want to let it go. He just will not let it go. So Karen Bass probably is going to win. Karen Bass is going to have to go in there and do what? Convince him that the city's on board in the right kind of way so that he'll approve a settlement that has nothing to do with it. Has he ever approved the settlement yet? I don't know. There's the city. The problem here is he allowed it to get really complicated too. Because the county is a party and the city is a party, and then they were arguing about we shouldn't be tied into each other. Like the county was saying, right, we shouldn't have to deal with the city's mishigas over here. So who knows what's going on? And who knows? You know what? We'll all be long retired before this guy ever is, and this case is ever put to bed.
If you are driving to Reading on I-5, which I do far too often, you're going to go through little towns like Corning and Red Bluff. That's Tehama County. In Tehama County, there is such a, as they put it, catastrophic staffing shortage of the sheriff's department in Tehama County that they don't have enough deputies to have daytime patrols. So they are suspending daytime patrols, and the CHP instead will respond to life-threatening emergencies during the daytime hours.
Good time to speed and blow some stop signs.
That's dumb. But still, they say it's difficulties with recruitment and retention of employees in that area, which has been directly linked to pay disparities. And this all started, even the city, the little city of Red Bluff that you drive through, it already had this issue. It was relying on the sheriff's department to take care of patrols within the city, and now the entire county is having to have the CHP for help because a lot of the deputies that are there are now staffing the jails and that kind of thing.
Now the county said, this is a fight between the sheriff and the county. What does that sound like? He's saying you're starving us of resources, and they're saying, what are you talking about? We put into place big pay increases for you, so we don't know what your problem is. Fast food workers will be staging protests today all over LA and Orange counties. They are mad at companies like McDonald's and Starbucks and other restaurant chains over Assembly Bill 257. That is that law that was signed, and it takes effect January 1st. It creates that 10-person state-run council to negotiate wages and working conditions for the fast food workers. And the fast food workers are upset because these companies now are pursuing putting a referendum on the ballot for 2024 that would undo it. Yeah, how much money do you think they have, the fast food industry? You're going to see insane amounts of money. And of course the workers are saying, don't take away our good folk. Wow. Okay, let's just move on.
Well, monkey labor is being called into question when it comes to HelloFresh. HelloFresh uses coconut milk that is allegedly obtained by monkey labor in Thailand. PETA says it wants the company boycotted because it says the monkeys are chained, whipped, beaten, and forced to spend long hours picking coconuts, and then it's the milk from those coconuts that the monkeys are forced to pick that HelloFresh allegedly uses in its different recipes.
PETA usually don't. PETA can really go out there. It really can. But this is true. This is ugly. I mean, this really is ugly.
Monkey labor.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. No, you can see it. I haven't either, but you can see it. Chained up and picking, they can obviously be trained to do that. Man, this is absolutely true, if it is. You want to know more? The Grammy nominations will be coming out today. In fact, we're going to start announcing them in just a few minutes, and there's 5 new categories. Because those shows are not long enough. Right. So now there's a Songwriter of the Year award, and that will be someone, not for one song, somebody who was the most prolific, non-performing, non-producing, songwriting-only person. They'll get an award plus Best Spoken Word Poetry Album. Oh, Bill, your album. Hey, Do You Think I'm a Schmuck? Remember that album you made of your poems?
Americana music performance, and score or soundtrack for video games and other interactive media. All right. That's great. Coming up, federal student loan debt relief. Boy, what's going on with that? Okay. This is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We're not here to make up your mind. We're here to give you the latest.
KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Yes, that was my attempt at winning. Parts of LA County will be under a high fire danger red flag warning tomorrow. Forecasters say it will be the first strong Santa Ana event of the season. The warnings will also be in effect for the Santa Clarita and San Fernando Valleys, the Malibu Coast, and the Santa Ana Mountains. News is brought to you by WDC Kitchen and Bath Center. A woman, the ex-husband of a woman from Simi Valley, has been arrested in connection with her disappearance and murder.
Simi Valley police say the case escalated after they got a 911 call from a woman named Emily Castillo last Thursday.
She arrived home at her Wood Ranch area apartment and found evidence indicating a struggle had occurred. Her sister, Rachel Castillo, 25 years old, who resided with Emily, was missing.
Commander Craig Duncan says Rachel's body was found Sunday in the Aloe Valley, and a short time later, investigators arrested her ex, Zarbat Ali, who was at his parents' home in Victorville. Duncan says there's no apparent motive for the murdered mother of two. Ali's in jail on $510,000 bail. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Comedian Jay Leno is recovering after his face and hands were burned in a gasoline fire. The Grossman Burn Center in West Hills says Leno is in stable condition. The Burbank Police Department says the fire happened Sunday inside Leno's garage in Burbank, where he stores a large number of vintage cars and sports cars. It's not known how the fire started. Leno tweeted yesterday he needs a week or two to get on his feet. Leno has canceled local appearances and at least one in Las Vegas. Two French bulldogs have been swiped on the 6th Street Bridge in L.A. A man got out of an SUV and robbed the dog's owners at gunpoint Friday. Owner of rare French bulldogs in Riverside, Michelle Krebs, says the dogs are a hot target for thieves because they're expensive and easy to sell. She says she's beefed up security around her home.
You know when you're dealing with, that level of dogs and people do want them bad enough to come in and rob your house and take the whole litter. Like I know someone in Florida, their whole litter will take.
Krebs says the dogs are a hot target for thieves because they are expensive. A woman's been shot in a historic hotel in downtown LA. The shooting happened just before 11 last night. Investigators say the woman was shot and killed on the 14th floor of the Hayward Hotel, but her body somehow ended up in the lobby. The man who shot her took off. Investigators say he knew the woman. LA is adding new areas for a program that diverts nonviolent 911 calls related to the homeless away from police.
The Circle program is expanding to both the San Fernando Valley at the end of the month and South LA early next year. Mayor Garcetti says the program sends unarmed teams of trained professionals to a variety of 911 calls.
If there is an individual who's under the influence of alcohol or narcotics, they can roll out to them. The person is inadequately clothed, using naked people in the streets.
The program was initially rolled out in Hollywood and Venice last year. It recently completed its expansion into downtown LA. In LA, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Republicans have won 2 seats in Southern California in the midterm elections. Michelle Steele defeated Jay Chen to represent the 45th Congressional District in LA and Orange counties. Ken Talbert was re-elected in Riverside County. He beat Democrat Will Rawlins in a district that became much more competitive this year after redistricting. Amazon is plans to lay off about 10,000 employees. Ethan Machine is a tech professor at University of Washington in Seattle and says many tech companies have to rethink their relationship with customers.
A lot of big companies really has grown exponentially in ways they couldn't have predicted because of the pandemic.
The test would be the largest in Amazon's history. And the Transportation Department says it fined international airlines nearly $500 million to refund passengers whose flights were either canceled or delayed. ABC's Trevor Alt says one of the airlines asked to pay up was based in the U.S.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says they have been flooded with complaints by passengers about this since the pandemic started, and they're going to hold these airlines accountable.
Buttigieg says many of the refunds have been issued. People can file a complaint to the Transportation Department to potentially get their money back. It recently ordered Frontier Airlines to pay $222 million to refund customers on top of a $2.2 million fine. We'll get a look at your drive on the 710, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Clippers are still without Kawhi Leonard, but 122 to 106. Coach Tyloo did have some concerns early in that game.
Yeah, we could have got some better shots, and we took some questionable shots early on. But in the halftime, we just addressed it like we can get any shot we want to get.
The Clips moved to the Dallas Mavericks at 5:30 today live on AM 570 LA Sports. The LA Kings lost to the Calgary Flames 6-5. The Ducks get the Detroit Red Wings at 7. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. Checking your KFI financial report, the Dow is up 189, S&P is up 52, Nasdaq is up 257, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $5.43. SoCal weather from KFI, mostly sunny today, highs will be in the upper 60s. A Santa Ana wind should start later this evening. 8 o'clock, we've got a wind warning that goes into effect. Lasts until at least 10 o'clock tonight, but it looks like we could have gusts of wind lasting all the way until Friday. Warmer temperatures as the week goes on with highs in the 70s and low humidity accompanies these winds, so that means we will have increased fire danger. Let's get a look at your drive, KFI in the sky, and an update on the 710.
Oh, boy, we got some continuing problems down. They all center around the 710. It's actually making a transition, but it's north and south 710 transition to the East 91's been shut down since pre-dawn. Actually, they're doing some emergency road work there, so it's really great to have that on the 710 itself. If you get on around Cherry or Panic or anything over towards the east, you'll be in much better shape. And then there's another problem that, thankfully, we've been spinning around this now. It's the West 91 at Cherry before the 710. Had a crash in those two right lanes. It just cleared. That only happened about 30 seconds ago. So if you're on the West 91 now around Carmenita, that's what this is all about. Again, the two right lanes were blocked, but all lanes are up and out. Now, the carpool lane is slightly better, no contest there. Eastbound drive, that's looking pretty good. And again, going up to the North San Fernando Valley, there was quite a problem. North 5 at Osborne, that cleared. But the North 170 and North 5 are kind of slow approaching. But in Orange County or Southern Orange County, there's still a problem existing. North 5 at El Toro, got a couple lanes blocked up there. Jesus, back up to the 74. That's kind of an expensive delay. If you get on at El Toro Road, North 5 will be in much better shape. Jeff Bond, AFI in the sky.
This hour of the Bill Handel Show brought to you by Jacoby & Myers. If you get hurt in an accident, choose a law firm with the experience to win. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
Moments like seeing my son's team cheer him on mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, I need even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor. It's for postmenopausal women or for men with HR positive, HER2 negative, MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell count that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's November. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all November long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts event. MVPs Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
At Educator, who's the work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%? So sorry the food is late. You should have been your Educator. Professionally delivered on time and as ordered. Totally would. But the E is broken on my keyboard. Just get IT to fix it. Totally would. Can't type the word help. Why don't all companies order through Educator? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on educator.com. Educator. Food for work. Just our thing.
Prime Choice Solar. Get started with zero out-of-pocket expense to make the switch to solar. Visit PrimeChoiceSolar.com.
KFI.
More stimulating talk.
And iHeart radio station.
Today, part of Bill Handel will be played by Bill Handel. I'm in a Handel show. What do you think? And now, here's
Bill Handle. KFI, AM 640, Bill Handle here on a Tuesday morning, November 15th. Some of the big stories we are covering here on KFI and actually all over Southern California. Karen Bass has now taken the lead or continues to lead over Rick Caruso for the mayor's race here in the City of the Angels. She got more than 29,000 votes in a increasingly early. So I think it's fair to report that it's pretty well has it. And also Bob Luna is going to be the new sheriff. He is technically trouncing Alex Villanueva. So that is happening in LA County. Now, something happened with federal appeals court and President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. The federal appeals court blocked it. Just said no. Well, didn't say no forever, but said no temporarily, which crushed the hopes of more than 26 million Americans to apply for the relief, discouraging a bunch more millions who were eligible, and pretty well, a good chance killing the plan completely. The 8th Circuit Court of Appeals granted this injunction, halting the forgiveness plan, and it was brought by 6 Republican-led states that argued Biden exceeded his authority when he cited COVID as the national emergency and the reason to cancel student loans for really 40-something million people. The states said that they would lose. Well, here it is. One of the courts said the states don't have standing. But the states, according to the court, do have standing because the forgiveness goes through a state program. And the states were able to prove that they lose money because of the forgiveness program. The court won it. And it's the second decision by a federal court. There was another case in which a U.S. district court blocked the program. That was last Thursday. Now, could the program be revived? Sure. Is it going to be? I don't know. A lower court ruled that the 6 plaintiff states, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, South Carolina, failed to establish standing. The appellate court said, they have the standing. And in a completely non-political response, the White House press secretary said the administration is confident in our legal authority and will continue to fight these baseless lawsuits by Republican officials and special interests and will never stop fighting to support working and middle-class families, Americans. So, yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so there's a temporary hold now until probably Supreme Court makes a final decision, and we don't know where they're going to go. And this has to do with the authority of the president to enact the loan forgiveness program. But I want to say something about the amount of money that people borrow and how expensive it is and how many people go to college. We are one of the very few countries in the world that have a philosophy that everybody should go to college. Everybody. If you want to go to college, you should go to college no matter how, frankly, no matter how smart you are, no matter your aptitude for college, you have the ability to go to college. Most countries don't do that. My partner Karen, for example, she went to college in South Africa, one of the premier colleges. Okay? It was free. She actually got a stipend. She had a test to it. It is literally the top 5% of students that get to go to college. And the state pays for it. It's free. And the philosophy is not everybody goes to college. Not everybody can go to college. It's almost like, was it George Bush or Bill Clinton? I'm confusing the two. One of them said everybody should go to college who wants to go to college, and the other one said everybody should be able to buy a house who wants to buy a house in America. Everybody should have a house in America. Well, okay, that's fair. That's realistic. And so what ends up happening? The number of people who borrow money to go to school, of course, is astronomical. I think 30 or 40 million Americans. And it is expensive. And the way we do colleges here in this country is just, it's a broken system. And we do healthcare, it's a broken system. We do colleges, it's a broken system. I borrowed money to go to college.
Frankly, I had no business going to college. Yeah. Borrow money for law school. Look how that's turned out, huh? You ever listen Saturday morning? What does that tell you? But realistically, it is a system here where the philosophy of everybody goes to school just doesn't make sense. What is wrong with a bit of elitism here? Where some people simply do better than others. I mean, is that just done as a philosophy? I guess so. All right, the UN Climate Change Summit, the COP27, the COP27. I'll explain a little bit what's going on. There's actually some good news coming out of this one. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Classes are canceled again today at the University of Virginia. The school community is grieving over the murders of 3 student athletes. The Transportation Department is penalizing Frontier Airlines for significant scheduling problems during the COVID pandemic. And today is National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. Health experts say that you should empty your refrigerator, throw out any recalled items too, and wash all the removable parts. We'll get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky. We'll check the 91 in just a moment.
The next door whole house water filtration system that I have in my house. And I have a lot of systems. Very simply the best water filter I've ever had. And let's start with the fact that it filters water outside your house. So as it comes inside your house, it's highly filtered, delicious, obviously very safe water. Every tap, every faucet produces this water. And let me bottom line it for you. You're baking, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're doing dishes, your clothes. You're making coffee with bottled quality water. That's the Life Source whole house system. There's no maintenance of any kind ever, no filters to change, no salt, big bags of salt to pick up. And once they've installed your system, you're good to go. You're done. Never worry about water again. Life Source uses a proprietary technology called 800-803-2696. 800-803-2696. Visit likesourcewater.com. Life Source Water, taste and feel the difference.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a sunny, windy day ahead. Highs are going to be in the mid-60s, and we've got a wind warning that kicks in at 8 o'clock tonight. This report is brought to you by waterheatersonly.com. Let's get a look at that drive, BKFI in the sky, and a review of the 91.
I go back to that wind a little bit, coming out of Acton and Palmdale, it's getting a little breezy up there, so be careful. Now, some good news for the westbound 91. There was quite a while at Sherry just before the second time. We had a couple of lanes blocked there. We've watched it clear, so thanks for that. But it is real, so coming away from Carmenita, actually. I think once you get past the 605, not too bad that Lakewood Bellflower area. From there, you'll be okay. Right to the end of the freeway after 110. And you'll go through quite a closure here. North and south 710 to the east 91. It's still shut down, probably will be for most of the day. They have to do some emergency construction there. And then finally, the North 405, now going up to LAX from Long Beach. Well, it's in fairly good shape, although getting a little slow getting through the 110. Again, up to about Inglewood. And then finally, things will through a very slow morning here. Jeff Bond, KFI in the sky.
Running out of hot water? It might be time for a new water heater. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Click 5-star rated service. Friendly local technicians, low prices, and 0% deferred interest financing. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This report is sponsored by iaccidentlawyer.com.
Tired of the BS? We spent $500,000 at risk. Result, $8 million for registered motorcyclists. The money's good and the bids are high. Speeding fast, the check is on Bank of America, and it's real. Give me the VIN.com. America's best car buyer. Fill up your car. Give me the VIN.com. It's so easy you can do it, and you're already doing it. Going halfway isn't the best way. For instance, would you give your child half a bike helmet?
You sure this is safe?
Or go out in the store with half an umbrella?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Would you settle for half a haircut? I don't think we're done. Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health. Hey, all, it's Steve Sharp. Are you running out of hot water? Water Heaters Only has been specializing in the repair and replacement of water heaters since 1968. That's over 54 years as the original water heater specialist. So visit waterheatersonly.com for zero interest financing. Terms and conditions apply. Request quick service or call to speak with a live operator 24 hours a day. Don't wait. Don't overpay. Visit waterheatersonly.com today. That's waterheatersonly.com.
It's time to celebrate the holidays and each other safely. No matter what's going on out there, in here your loved ones are protected. Trust the pros and code to keep all surfaces clean, sanitized, and safe this holiday season. From your carpet to your air duct to your upholstery and more. We'll help keep your home healthy for the holidays. Call 800-4-QUIT today and save 35%.
There's no changeover in office anyway. Yeah, we're slow because that is archaic. No, yes. And then the second half of let's give it finish. That's it. They only come in here for that. That's their problem. John and Ken. No.
Weekdays at 2
No.
on KFI.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here. It is a Tuesday morning, November 15th. And before we go on with the program, here is your chance to win some money in your pocket.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND, GRAND. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Powered by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. If you're hurt in an accident, winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Sweet James. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or sweetjames.com.
And this is a reminder to not text the keyword. You have to actually enter it online at the website, our website, KFIAM640.com/cash. Winners are notified by email, so keep an eye out. You may also want to check your spam and or junk folder to see if you've won. Continue listening for your next chance to win, and that's every hour from 9 to 5 p. And that's Monday through Friday. And some of the big stories that we're covering before we get to the COP27, Walmart has become the latest major player in the drug industry, announcing a planned set of lawsuits regarding their opiate sales, $3.1 billion. And about $50 billion already has been paid, but this is among states and counties and individuals, so you stretch that out, and it's not a whole lot of money for everybody. All right, the COP27 climate summit has ended, and that was in Indonesia, where the president met with President Xi of China and virtually all the other world leaders, except for Trump. He was too busy shelling Ukraine to show up, or did send his foreign minister. And these COP summits, basically most summits are a waste of time. All the various heads of state sit around, and they sit around those tables with flowers in the middle, and they're on opposite ends of each other, and then you have flags of the different countries, and I'm assuming they have the food is pretty good, although you never see them eating, and not a lot happens. There's a photo op at the end, and not a lot happens. This time there was actually something happening. There was some progress actually made at the COP27, this particular summit. And one of the issues is getting to net zero. Getting to zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 to stop global warming. And that actually got closer. The COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland, fell apart because the frustration that international finance wasn't going to developing countries. And the point is not us moving to net zero. We're going to do it. We've got the money. It's just a question of time. Even the energy companies are moving in that direction. We know that. The problem is, how do developing countries get to that point? Because it takes money. And in those countries, the people, for example, tonight will be eating sand for dinner. There just isn't money to do that, and it is expensive. So the COP26 summit in Glasgow, not much happening. The international international finance wasn't going to developing countries, even though it had been promised. 2021 was COP26. And for the first time, the financial sector, the private financial sector showed up. Private banks, insurers, institutional investors, representing $130 trillion. That's in terms of the money that's out there. And they're hoping these countries are hoping that some of the money flows towards them. And, of course, it hasn't. But at least there's more talk about it. In the year since COP26, a UN commission said this is the kind of money, this is what a company or institution has to do to make a credible claim about net zero goals. There's something called greenwashing, saying here's what we're going to do, here's our plan, and it means nothing. So let me tell you what they've actually come up with and positive that's come out of COP27. International financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, designed to help developing countries. Now, up to this point, it's loaning money to developing countries, granting money to developing countries, and it has to do with infrastructure, building dams and roads, and establishing grants for business. This is about climate change. But over the past 12 months, a lot of frustration, not only with the financial system, the international, but also with the World Bank. Low-income countries have complained, forever, ever since the net zero emissions concept has come forward. They're saying, hey, the only way we're going to do this, we have to borrow money from the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund. We can't afford that. So a lot of pressure. Matter of fact, the World Bank president stepped down, nominated by the U.S. president, always. Because we put in all the money, or the vast majority of money, and current one is on his way out. Was nominated by President Trump a couple, 3 years ago. And so, yeah, a lot of pressure because nothing is happening. I'll tell you who's one of the lead figures. Strangely enough, the Barbados Prime Minister, who has to be a leading voice for reform. Everybody pays attention to her, calling for $1 trillion that's already in the international system to go to the climate change projects in 4 countries. And are we moving in that direction? Lip service. Lip service is what it's all about. So the issue of more public/private partnerships being developed, speed decarbonization to power clean energy transition. There was something called the Just Energy Transition Partnership that was announced 2021, and it was the first country that got money under this program was South Africa. It's transition away from coal power, and it's a mix of grants and loans and investments, and that is the poster child for this system. So here we go, public funding. Developed countries, well, it's inflation, it's the economy, and the money just isn't there. I mean, you can promise the money and have the money there and break your promise. Or you can promise the money and you don't have the money, so it makes no difference. So you've got governments, including the U.S., either unable or unwilling to make commitments. So John Kerry was all about this. And John Kerry, remember when he was the U.S. Special Climate Envoy? Is he still? May very well be. And he came up with, or the administration came up with these carbon credits. And voluntary carbon markets are now emerging, and there are new rules that are being proposed. And so the bottom line is that it's still lip service for the most part. However, it's moving away from lip service and moving towards a little bit less lip service and real things happening. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we know Top 28 is going to talk about it. What's it like working for the world's richest person who happens to be the world's worst boss? I'll tell you about employees, and they'll tell you all about Elon Musk. There's some great stories here I'm going to share. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
48,000 student researchers at all 10 University of California campuses have gone on strike for better pay and benefits.
We do the bulk of the work, but our salaries do not reflect that.
UCLA grad student Stephanie Minna says not only does that mean they do most of the teaching,
We do most of the research as well. We collect data, we work in the lab.
UC Irvine PhD student Jesse Alfieri says some student researchers make as little as $24,000 a year.
More than half of my monthly pay goes to my rent. So I have pennies left over to afford the rest of my bills.
UC says it's committed to negotiating a multi-year deal with fair pay and benefits. At UC Irvine, more big cards than KFI News.
Christina Applegate has made her first public appearance since announcing she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. The actress spoke at the unveiling of her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday. She recalled her first impression of the famous sidewalk when she was 5.
Waiting in line to see the first Star Wars on this very street at that very theater and looking at the things going, who are these people? What did they do? Did they do something right? Did they do something wrong? Whatever it is, I want one.
Applegate stars in the Netflix series Dead to Me. NASA JPL will launch a new satellite designed to measure all the water on the planet.
The Surface Water and Ocean Topography mission, known as SWOT, will be the first to observe nearly all water on Earth's surface, measuring heights of lakes, rivers, reservoirs, and the ocean.
All this water will be seen by SWAT in one mission for the first time almost entirely over the whole globe.
Nadia Schiffer is a project scientist. The satellite will launch December 5th from Vandenberg using a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Schiffer says the mission is a collaboration with space agencies from France, England, and Canada, and will observe the fine details of the ocean's surface topography and measure how water bodies change over time. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
A spokesman for Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired around 100 missiles in a countrywide strike. At least 10 regions and cities reported they were targeted. Officials announced emergency blackouts at some facilities and residential areas. They told people to cut back on power usage and to hang in there. And World Cup fans have a chance to write their favorite cup from around the world and get paid for it.
The month-long global Quadrennial soccer competition is about watching 32 countries play a lot of soccer while usually drinking a lot of beer. You, not the players. The online sportsbook and casino review site Bonus Finders offering cash and prizes to rate the suds. One lucky winner will get a beer from each of the countries playing in the World Cup. The countdowns notes and they'll rank the beers best to worst. The winner will also get a new television and $500 for their time. The World Cup kicks off in Qatar on Sunday, where the beer can only be sold in designated tents outside of venues, and they cannot be taken into the games. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
We'll get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky. Better news for the 5 in just a moment.
I've been a small business person my entire adult life. And over the years, I got nailed on some HR issues. And like most small to medium-sized business owners, I couldn't come close to affording an HR person. Well, there's an answer here. Bambi.com. With Bambi, you do get an HR person, starting at just $99 per month. And I just know that sounds too good to be true, but this actually is for real. Bambi helps you deal with your HR problems like writing HR policies, sexual harassment training, hostile work environment, terminations where I got nailed, people complaining about other employees that smell terrible, all putting you and your business at risk. So with Bambi, you get access to your own dedicated HR manager available by phone, email, real-time chat. Go to Bambi.com, type in KFI under the radio drop-down when you sign up. I get the credit. Thank you for that. Bambi.com, that's B-A-M-B-E-E, spelled B-A-M-B-E-E, Bambi.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. Mostly sunny today. Highs will be in the upper 60s. We've got a Santa Ana wind event starting later tonight with a wind advisory that kicks in at 8. Now, those gusty winds look like they're going to be with us off and on through about Friday, with temps warming into the 70s. Our humidity level will be low, so all of that combined will lead to high fire danger. Let's get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky. Better news on the 5.
Well, good morning. Thanks for letting us run along with you here. It's been a tough one. A little bit better news is the word for that North Continental Toro Road. It was kind of power. It's starting to thin out a little bit. I'll just use that. After that, you'll be okay up towards the Irvine spectrum and the 5-405 split. Now, major problems continue on the 55, really a dire at the halfway point in between the 5 and the 405. That delays in both directions. Big crashes on both sides. Anyway, Surface streets are tough. There's nothing that goes all the way down to parallel. So Tustin Avenue Steakhouse, some of that is good, but it's really a tough drive. Other than that, the only ongoing problem we have in LA County is the southbound 710 transition, north and south 710 transition to the East 91. It's going to be closed for a while. They've been working on it for quite some time. It's really but not around there. Oh, and better news for the West 91 around Cherry. There was a problem that cleared, so all lanes are open again. Jeff Farr, AFI in the sky.
Hey, there's a better way to fly. Instead of being stuck in endless lines and packed onto planes, try simplifying your travel with Surf Air. Save an average of 2 hours on every trip and avoid crowded airports with a new way to fly private. With Surf Air, you'll fly from smaller airports closer to your home. There are no lines, no waiting, and no stress. SurfAir.com, the best alternative to commercial air travel that makes flying easy. Get a free quote on your next flight at SurfAir.com. There's a better way to fly private.
Our electric bills are pretty high.
I'm concerned about the additional infrastructure.
Recently in California, with the fires, they said that they're going to shut off the power and to be shut off for longer periods than usual.
I look at our electric bills and they keep going up and up and up.
We had to find a solution to our energy bill.
Your home is an ecosystem. Solar power, battery storage, and efficient air conditioning all work together to ensure your house is comfortable, protected, and self-sustaining. Save today and prepare for tomorrow with Sempra 360, the all-in-one home energy solution. The savings are better than what I expected.
I said, I want the 18. This was the 18.
From the beginning to the end, they have been the best.
Declare your energy independence with Sempra Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar, battery, and air contractor. Take advantage of the 30% federal solar tax credit. Zero down, zero interest, and zero payments for 12 months. For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit SempraSolaris.com. Expires November 30th, 2022. TSLB 978-152.
Medicare beneficiary. Master the ABCs of this year's annual election period with PIH Health. A. Attend the Medicare forum. B. Browse auctions and speak with health plan representatives and brokers. C. Choose a health plan that gives you access to the full PIH Health network of primary care and specialty physicians. Visit PIHhealth.org/AEP or call 888-365-4450. That's 888-365-4450. 888-365-4450. Your health and wellness partner.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate. American Vision Windows, SoCal's choice for energy-efficient windows and doors. AmericanVisionWindows.com.
AFI.
AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. You're a troublemaker. KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here on a Tuesday. It's going to be very windy starting tonight, November 15th. Gusts 60 miles per hour, so you're going to be some wind warnings, fire warnings for sure. I want to share this with you because this is kind of a fun story, and it has to do with Elon Musk. Well, anything with Elon Musk is fun unless you happen to be working for Elon Musk at Twitter when he's fired you. But this is a story came out of the LA Times. And I want to start with a disclaimer here. This is about as biased a story as I've seen in a very long time. Now, there's some truth to it. Yeah, the LA Times. I mean, they corroborate. And one of the things about mainstream media is it actually is corroborated for the most part. They don't just come up with this. But in the last 2 weeks, what happened at Twitter? Firings, threats, bluster, day-to-day uncertainty among employees. The demand from Musk, you have to work in the office at long hours. So, do you describe Musk as a woman country boss? No, not quite. He now has more than 100,000 employees. And he burns through executives like I do underwear about once a week. No more than that. He takes criticism personally.
He's been known to fire people on a whim since buying Twitter. His public image has shifted, obviously. And one of the reasons you don't hear a whole lot about employees that are disgruntled, new employees sign these tough non-disclosure agreements and develop a reputation for going after those who breach that and actually exacting retribution for even talking about the NDAs. And there's plenty though in the public record. We know about personal attacks, we know about union busting. There have been a lot of factory floor injuries, there have been health concerns. There has been allegation of a dismissive approach to racism. There's also one great story, an allegation, of course I think this is way out here, involving a horse and sexual favors. Don't quite know how they connect, but, why not? Let's throw that out too. And his short fuse is legend. I mean, that we do. And employees have learned to just stay the hell out of his way, especially when he's angry. There is a story that was written by Wired, a writer that works for Wired. It's called Dr. Elon and Mr. Musk. So the story of Musk summoning a young engineer to his office, and he shouts at him, "Hey buddy, this doesn't work." And he says, "Did you do this?" And the engineer said, "You mean program the robot?" It was a robotic issue. "Program the robot or design the tool?" And Musk is screaming, asked him, how did you effing do this? Or did you effing do this? And then the engineer goes, "I'm not sure what you're even referring to. You're an effing idiot. Get the F out of here. Don't come back." And that's how he's fighting. And there is another book, 2021. It's a book by Higgins, author Higgins, Power Play. And he writes about how Musk vents his anger. Musk says he doesn't do rage firings, but he provides, quote, "clear and frank feedback." But general reputation, again, keep in mind, this is an LA Times article, as I read it, it is about as biased as you can get. When he was asked about his temper, he said he doesn't do rage firings. But if he perceives he's been crossed, and he goes forward with retribution. And this guy has a lot of power. He lashes out. Remember that British diver suggested that mini submarine developed by Musk to rescue those young soccer players that were trapped in a cave back, I think it was in Indonesia. And there was, "You can't do this, Musk, because it just isn't going to work." And remember, he called the diver a pedophile. He was sued. Musk won that trial, by the way. There's an engineer at Tesla who emailed Musk about what she saw as a serious safety issue in the product design. So she was called to a meeting and thought she would have a face-to-face with him. She was led into a security room, according to her, and simply fired. And for years, she's been trying to sue Tesla for defamation, but you're fighting some of the best lawyers out there. There's another whistleblower, Martin Tripp, moved to Hungary to Italy from Musk when he talked about excessive scrap waste at Tesla's battery factory. And it was Musk went after him. It goes on and on where there are some real issues. And Tesla is basically a startup company, and it's fabulously successful. It has a cap, I think, greater than General Motors and Ford and Chevy put together. And he sells about 1.2 million cars a year, making money. That's the most of his work is in Tesla. That's what makes him the richest man in the world. And according to this story, there were some injury rates, and that did improve because mainly bosses couldn't call the ambulance or send the employees to a doctor other than Tesla doctors, and you had the management has okayed the calling of the ambulance. I mean, these are great stories. The bottom line is, I guess, really don't want to work for us, do you? No, I don't think so. The only thing they do around here, management, not that I'm ripping into management, but read your contract through. It says that if you have a major medical problem, if possible, do it on the air.
Oh, for ratings.
Yeah, we'll do it 100%. Yeah, exactly. All right, coming up, we're going to finish the show with TikTok. It has become an ad juggernaut, and I'll explain how that works. In the meantime, let's check in with the Jennifer Jones-Lee, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine's under attack as that nation's war against Russia goes on. Ukrainian authorities have announced emergency blackouts after Russian strikes on the power grid. It's expected to be busy around Cape Canaveral. Tonight, the Artemis 1 launch is set to take place in Florida. And Recording Academy will announce nominations today for the 65th Annual Grammy Awards live from the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles. SoCal weather from KFI, sunny today, highs in the 60s. We've got a major wind event that starts tonight, 8-ish. They've got a wind warning in effect starting then. Then we could have gusty wind all the way through the weekend. Highs for the rest of the week will be in the 70s. This report is brought to you by waterheatersonly.com. Let's get a look at your drive. BKFI in the sky in the 405.
Over Jennifer is making it southbound along the 405 getting through the Truman area. It's an early recommendation. Clear from lanes, although the 405 southbound overall still looking pretty rough here, right? As you're going through the San Fernando Valley, it looks like that will be busy from as far back as Roscoe Boulevard. Unrelated slow and continuing ahead as you make way through West LA toward about Sunset and northbound side of the 405. Still pretty patchy for your drive overall. Coming out of the Long Beach area, seeing heavy stretches of slowing as you come away from, let's lightening up, but through Long Beach off the 605, especially starts to get busy for your cars around Avalon Boulevard. For heavy stretches of slowing back through West LA as you make way toward about Santa Monica Boulevard. KFI, this guy helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Collier.
Running out of hot water? Might be time for a new water heater. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Quick 5-star rated service. Friendly local technicians, low prices, and 0% deferred interest financing. Visit waterheatersonly.com. Terms and conditions apply. This report is sponsored by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. Keep Cool LA with deep discounts up to $225 on room air conditioners. Shop the Cool LA Marketplace at ladwp.com today and smooth out your summer bills by paying the same amount every month with LADWP's new Let Me Pay program. Call 800-PWP to sign up today.
Good assets like a home, why not set up a trust or a will so everything transfers to your loved ones without costly delay? Make a quick call to Legal Docs by Me, and that's going to give you peace of mind. No expensive lawyers, no confusing websites, and you'll save thousands of dollars. Yes, I said thousands. All you have to do is call them right now. They're going to take down the necessary information and help you throughout the entire process. Just dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say Legal Docs. Pound 250 Legal Docs. Again, pound 250 and say Legal Docs. Legal Docs by Me. No lawyers, save money. Contact your license 4771. Exactly. It's that time again. What time? Rejuvenation. We gonna rejuvenate everyone's furnace? Yes, for just $129. Rejuvenating your furnace is extremely very important. If you have a gas furnace, there are 5 life-saving systems that need to be checked before you fire it up. And if you have electric heat, rejuvenating your system is even more extremely very important. $129 is all it takes to keep your family safe. Yeah, air conditioning and plumbing. GOETTL.com. We do things the right way, not the easy way.
Family, friends, and quality time are so valuable. This is what life is about. I'm Susan Owen, managing partner at personal injury law firm Owen Patterson & Owen. I've seen thousands of injuries, and in emergency, you need a trusted law firm with decades of experience, a winning record, and support after the accident, getting you back to the ones you love. If you've been injured, call us directly at 888-OPO-WIN, 888-OPO-WINS, OPOLaw.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard, keeping 38,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com. Hey, come here. Let's talk about water and money, because folks are pretty scared right now. So what do you spend on bottled water every month? Like $50 a month? Not this. For nothing down and only $45 a month, you can order purified water, whole house water filtration, 7 latte. You can do that, right? Oh, and did I mention you own the system? Go online and look up Puritan water. Their 5-star reviews are everywhere. Things wrong with this fresh water. I've had Puritan for about a year now, and I love that my family's safe from harmful chemicals. Pretty cool, right? So dump the bottles, call 844-80-WATER, 844-80-WATER, or the website, PURagainwater.com. PURagainwater.com. That's PuritanWater.com. Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME, 121 Santa City Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising. Warning, your heater may be unsafe. Don't turn on your heater again without calling Next Gen HVAC and Plumbing for a safety inspection and tune-up. Only $68 for a limited time. Only $68 for safety and peace of mind.
Amazon business owners, Jill Lau, Chief Procurement Officer of Global Network Bank. Last week, Jill saved big and used Amazon Business to help her team buy 327 headsets. Now Bob can keep his conversations to himself. Hey, I start speaking about good business buying easier than before. Jill now uses her extra time to focus on growing something big. Buy smarter, dream bigger. Visit Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. Hang it up, Bob.
Okay, Crozier, Stefouge, and Chris Little. Fully nude tonight, kids. I would be totally comfortable walking in topless every day. Really? Yeah, I'd be far more comfortable the other way. Is that right? Just wearing a t-shirt?
Look at that, Ding Dong.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show. Woo! Weeknights at 6 on KFI. KFI, AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here. Tuesday morning, November 15th. It's with the show, some of the big stories that are out there. Karen Bass, running for mayor, takes the lead over Rick Caruso. Now by more than 29,000 votes, and that keeps expanding. So it looks like she is going to win. Good for her, bad for Rick Caruso. And California is reporting the first death of a child under the age of 5 due to both flu and RSV. So that is starting to, as you've noticed, that the hospitals are now filling up again like they did in the early days of COVID. Hospitals are now putting tents outside in the parking lots, the parking structures, temporary hospital facilities. Looking at another one, hopefully not. I want to end the show with TikTok, a story about TikTok. And this is fascinating to me because this is not only the use of the internet, which is, I've always been fascinated how it works in a business sense, but also what is going on in terms of advertising, and it's all about advertising. Now, it's also about data mining in many of these applications, but with TikTok, it's all about ads. Now, TikTok, and I used to make fun of TikTok, it's basically dance videos and pop songs. And a quick aside, the app is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance. Well, it's built itself into a digital advertising juggernaut. This year, it's on track to make $10 billion in ad revenue, double what it did last year. How about 100% growth? See, that's good. The ad revenue for TikTok is going to be bigger than Twitter and Snap, although compared to Google and Meta, of course, they're much, much bigger. But in terms of growth, no one's coming close to TikTok. And as digital advertising is slumping, because of the economy worldwide is going south, TikTok is growing like a weed. Now, even with all of this, and there are some concerns, advertisers have concerns about TikTok, Chinese ownership, content quality, problems with bot traffic, because they sell based on the number of viewers, and if they're bots, fake viewers, what do you do with that? But even with all that, companies keep flocking to the end. Man, they just love it. TikTok says it has more than 1 billion users, so let's say it has 10% bots, but still 900 million. And if you look at the amount of time spent on TikTok by the average user, it's 96 minutes per day. 5 times more than Snapchat, 3 times more than Twitter, twice as much as Facebook and Instagram. Rich Greenfield, who's a tech analyst for a company that studies the internet apps and sales of the sales of information and ad revenue, says TikTok is eating the world. The only thing that matters in the world of entertainment is time spent. What matters in the world of products being sold, how much you're selling. And for that, TikTok is, well, they have a different business model. What they did is actually brilliant. So to ramp up its ad business, TikTok made some unconventional moves. I mean, this is absolute genius. So you have social media platforms, and they sell ads. You have banners, they have commercials, for example, in podcasts you have to listen to. Well, TikTok does a little different. They have ads that appear like any full-screen videos on the platform. You don't know what is an ad and what you don't know. There's also the world that when you look at radio and television, same thing happens in different ways. Product placement. Someone is sitting at a desk and there's a can of Diet Coke or Coke. And they pay for that. Obviously, Coke pays for that placement, but it becomes part of the story itself, as opposed to this blast of an ad that you know instantly is an ad. It's more subtle. In the world of radio, for example, ads that you simply talk about in show. And give you an example, I don't do this, by the way, because I'm